I am Venki, and this is the Working Athlete Podcast. Here, I talk to working athletes from all walks of life and experts from various sports to provide you with inspiration, training tips, time management, and lifestyle advice. If this is something that interests you, please make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future episode. Today's guest, Jay Armugam, is an ultra cyclist from Dubai. His passion for cycling was born during the peak of COVID pandemic back in April 2020, and it kept growing. I first met him during the Tour of Nilgiris in 2022 and was struck by his earnest enthusiasm for cycling. After crashing badly on the last day of the tour, within a few weeks he went on to complete his first ultra event, which was the Race Around Rwanda. In this episode, we talk about his experiences in Tour of Nilgiris as well as his experience of riding the 1000 kilometer self-supported gravel event Race Around Rwanda. It was fascinating to listen to his experiences, especially from the self supported adventure in Rwanda. I hope you enjoy this as much as I did. But first, this episode is brought to you by FindBetter.ai. FindBetter is a social networking app for cycling and running enthusiasts to discover and shop together. For a cycling enthusiast like me, it is a treasure trove to find all sorts of bikes and accessories, both used and in new. I tend to get a lot of direct messages asking for where to find a bike on a budget, etc. Nowadays, I simply tend to direct them to the Find Better app. It is an app that is completely free to use and is available both on Google Play Store and the App Store. Download and you can follow me on the app as well. I am there on the app as Bikey Venky, BIKEY VENKY. Now, enjoy the podcast. Welcome to the Working Athlete Podcast, Jay. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for this opportunity, Venki. I know that we met during the TFN, and I always when I started seeing the podcast, and it's really amazing, So like you are actually featuring some great athletes from the world, and it's really awesome to see you doing this great work.
Awesome, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we met in 2022 TFN, which is just 4 months back.
Mhm.
And it is amazing to kind of, you know, see the way you rode the TFN. You had one goal to kind of take as minimal as a time as possible, or off the saddle time as possible in completing the ride.
Mhm.
And that is when I kind of understood that you were using the tour
Mhm.
basically while enjoying it. You were
Mhm.
using it as a training for something bigger, which
Mhm.
was Tour of Rwanda, right?
It's actually a race around Rwanda, but I actually rode like a tour.
Race around Rwanda. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, let us talk about both the Tour of Nilgiris and to race across Rwanda.
Mhm.
Before getting into that, though,
Mhm.
let us talk a little bit about how you got into the sport, and how you got introduced to the sport and how you're taking it.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity, Venki, again. And I've been on and off gyms for I think right from my childhood days, but I never embraced healthy habits in my life. So I just go 2 months to gym, and then after that, once I see some weight loss happening, I just again actually go back to normal. But it all started in 2019, where I went with one of my friend to do a 5K run. And after I finished my run, I just got a medal, and that really kicked me off with everything. And then I started training for 10K runs, and then within I think 3 months I started doing my half marathon. And I think my first half marathon was 2 hours and 25 minutes, and I just got so much goosebumps after finishing it. And then I started training for a full marathon. So my first full marathon was in Chennai. I did the Chennai full marathon in 2020 January. I think I finished about 5 hours and 30 minutes, but still, that was like a training marathon for me, And then I did Dubai marathon. So I just came into this endurance sports in 2019 September, but within 2020 March, I think I would have done maybe 20 half marathons, and I've done maybe 4 to 5 full marathons because during the COVID time, I started running even actually within my apartment. I mean, our studio apartment was what, maybe 600 square feet. So I ran my first, I mean, my third full marathon in my apartment. It was around 2,600 laps, and I finished in
Wow.
around, yeah. I did around, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was 5 hours and 20 minutes. I think I actually finished my full marathon within my apartment, and around 7.20 pacing or something. And I just got featured by one of the magazines in Dubai as well. So yeah, so that's how I started. I mean, I started my endurance. Then in 2020 April, I supposed to do the Paris marathon, but because of the COVID, I couldn't go. And then we couldn't run much in Dubai, and the heat was terrible. And then I started, okay, I mean, then I said, let me do something as a recovery sport, and then I'll come back to running in September or something, because I supposed to do the Berlin marathon, which is actually the world majors that year. But unfortunately, or fortunately, I started cycling in 2020 April as a recovery sport, but I never went back to running. so so it all started. it all
So cycling took hold of you, huh?
it actually took over everything, and I had a huge running community friends, and everybody started hating me, because I never went back. And actually people started removing me from the WhatsApp group of running and stuff like that. I was like, oh my god. So I started in 2020, and if you look at it, that year, from April until December, I did around 9,000 kilometers in that 6 months, because it was all group sports. And I did my first 100K, I remember, at 26 or 25. I mean, that time I don't know anything about group riding. I don't know anything about average speed. I don't know anything about power meters. I mean, that's how I started. But all I know was cycling is good and I'm enjoying it. And I just was on the saddle for a long time, 9,000 kilometers. Then I started group riding. And then, 2021, again, I actually upgraded to carbon bike within the 3 months of my cycling. And cycling just took me from there. It's like a meditation. I was riding morning and evening. Morning I used to ride 2 hours, evening I used to ride with a different group for an hour. So I was like, people used to call me as an addict, because I'm always on the track. And yeah, I mean, that's how I actually came into cycling, without any basic training, or all I know is pedaling, and I just went on and on with that.
Amazing, amazing. So also it is, Dubai. I was there, last month, and you guys have so much cycling track, right? So I heard it is like some 200 kilometers worth of cycling track or something like that, where
No,
you
no, no,
can, yeah.
no. We have almost 650 or 670 kilometers of
Wow.
track, but it's all like, I think 400 kilometers is already done. I think there are 200 or 250 kilometers already in a pipeline. I mean, we are so much blessed with the country infrastructure, because our crown prince, Mr. Faza, I mean, the Highness Faza, he's also into all this sports as well. So he himself actually a cyclist as well. So that actually makes our life so easier and better. And also it's also very safe to cycle as well in Dubai. I know there are a few tragic accidents happen because of people cycle on the road, but we are so much blessed with the infrastructure what we have in this country.
Oh, definitely. I think we should get our politicians here to, get into cycling so that we also get some cycle tracks and stuff. But
I know,
the
but
jokes apart,
yeah,
yeah, it's amazing. I rode on the cycle track there when I
mhm,
was there for the Spinnis 92 challenge,
yeah.
and I was blown away with the kind of the track that is there,
And
exclusively
also,
for cyclists. Yeah.
actually, what amazes me in this country is, I mean, we have sports councils as well. Like, I mean, they're so cooperative. And if they, I mean, for example, when you did the Spinnis race was done on the main roads of Dubai. It's all the major roads of Dubai, and it's organized so well. The RTA, which is the Road and Transport Authorities, and the Dubai Police, they actually support these kind of initiatives, and they close all the major roads. And that's like one day where you can ride on all the major roads of Dubai. It's so
Amazing, we had like the 6-lane highways all for ourselves.
correct,
That
exactly.
was an amazing experience. If I get a chance to go back, I would definitely come back to race again at Spinneys and stuff. Amazing race, very well
Yes.
organized, and like you said, the authorities, the kind of support the event has from the
Mm.
authorities is amazing. We
Yeah,
had
for sure,
the
100%.
yeah, absolutely closed and great support.
Yeah.
Very well organized event.
Hmm.
And yeah, coming back to you and your riding,
Yeah.
so you got into cycling, you contributed to the varying of the cycling tracks there by riding miles and miles. uh, so now, how did you kind of get into TFN and come here?
Well,
Get
I
How did you
actually,
get to know about TFN? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, as I started cycling in 2020 and 2000, I'm sorry, 2020 April, and then the 2021 was all riding group rides with friends, and riding with like different groups. So it was all about it. And then in 2022, things got a little bit, serious, and then I started seeing lots of other YouTube videos and inspiring stuff across the world. And then two of my friends, they went and did Race Around Rwanda in 2022 in February. No, I think that year it was in March. And I was like, wow, what is this? And then I just started getting to know about gravel cycling. And I don't know, from my childhood, I always wanted to do things not many people do it, so kind of like. And that time the gravel cycling was not that popular in Dubai. I would say, I think in my whole cycling community, I mean, I'm talking about my group of friends, I was probably the first one to start the gravel cycling. And then I was actually inspired by Eddie and Bruno, and I said, wow, this is something interesting. So instead of doing just group rides and stuff like that, this should be my aim, right? So then I just got a gravel bike. Then I started looking at, okay, I should go and ride somewhere apart from Dubai, right? So, and I don't know it is a good thing or it's a bad thing. Whenever I want to do something different and I want to do something that's going to make me feel proud, I always wanted to do that in India, because I come from India, and I always wanted to do that, right? Like, I mean, my first debut ride, or my first debut run, like, I mean, when I did my marathon, I was very sure that my first debut marathon should be in India, because I wanted to, I mean, when I just talk about the country, I'm already having the goosebumps, right? So I said to myself, okay, I wanted to get into this long distance riding. I didn't know even term called ultra cycling those days, right? So I just said, okay, let me just look for something. Then when I was looking at long distance cycling tours and stuff like that, then Tour of Nilgiris came on a Google page. Then there are a couple of friends from Dubai cycling community. I think they are also part of the TFN alumni, and they spoke very high about TFN. But what I didn't know is TFN is a stage kind of races. I was thinking it's like a long distance cycling, right? So then I said it's fine. End of the day, I wanted to go for long distances, and I have to leave Dubai and go do something else. And that's where I kind of came to know about TFN, and I was so much restless to open the registration, because I came to know this, I think, in March or April. I think in March. Then the registration started in May. And I just kept, you won't believe me, I just kept an alarm on my phone for the date of registration opening, so that I don't want to lose the registration. Because I even actually contacted Deepak, I think, before the registration, sending him an email saying, "Hi, I'm from Dubai. I'm so much interested to join your ride, and I wanted to book my seats for the for the tour, because I don't want to lose an opportunity, right? Because sometimes it goes
Right.
in a blink of an eye." And then Deepak said, "Thank you for your interest, and our registration opens in May. Stay tuned." And I said, "Oh my god, I have to wait, so I don't want to forget this. Let me just put the reminder on my calendar." And then, trust me, I think when the registration opened, I was on a cycling track, the Loop Cafe. I actually stopped my ride and I went to the coffee shop. I just, from the phone itself, I was just doing the registration, everything. And then I mean, the good thing is you don't have to send money or use the card during the registration. All you need to do is the basic registration, and then they will contact you. So that's how I came into it. I was so passionate about doing this ride. And then I don't know whether if I can do it or not, because it's I never rode anything more than 2 days continuously. um, that's where I just felt an importance of, okay, probably I need a proper structured training, right? And that's where I got into the structured training in order to do this tour in a successful way.
Nice, nice. So, and how was the experience of the tour itself for you?
I must say, it's fabulous. Number one, I never rode in India, so that was my first ever ride I did in India. And right, Indians, like, I mean, when we do something, I mean, I'm not like blowing our own trumpets. When we do something, we always do it on a higher, like, as if there's no benchmark, right? Or probably when we do something, we always want to set a benchmark for other people to do it, right? So I think the first experience, I mean, Deepak was very supportive actually before the ride itself, because I was like, I even did a part payment for the tour, because I said, Deepak, I can't pay this all of a sudden, all this amount. So you need to be flexible with me. And he said, yeah, 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 don't worry about it, right? So kind of those kind of hospitality, and I mean the way they treated, and I said, wow, this is the best option for me, and I'm just gonna have a good time, right? So, and from the time I landed there, and how it was like a festival for me, right? I mean, there were a lot of that was the first time I saw nearly 100 Indian cyclists in one area. I never saw such a big community, right? I never actually rode in a group ride or in a smaller group. So for me to see 100 cyclists in that hotel was like more than a festival to me. I was like, wow, this is getting better and better, right? And then we just put the bike together, and the ride started in the rain. I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm coming from Dubai, and is this a good start for me to start something in the rain? Because we
The
never.
first the first 2 days were like full
I
on
know,
rain. You know,
I
this was the
know.
first time in the 10 times that I have done TFN. It was the first time that I experienced rain on
Yeah.
the tour. And I was
I
like, wow.
I remember. I think it was you who were actually standing next to me when we were actually starting the race, and that's where you were actually telling me about the spinnies, and we had a chat for 5 minutes before the tour, and I remember you
Correct.
said, I remember these words you said exactly. Oh, I'm doing this is my 10th TFN. I never seen a rain. I said, wow. So which means I must be very lucky. I must be very lucky, right? But again, I kind of felt, as you said in the beginning, for me, Tour of Nilgiris was definitely a first long distance riding, which means I kind of used Tour of Nilgiris as a build up ride for my next ultra race, right? Then I said, Jay, just do it. And first time, I mean, I had my rain jacket and everything, so I said, let's just get it on, right? Just let's just get it on. So I just started, and one thing I was very sure is, because for me I felt it's like a too much of breaks, like after 25 kilometers you had a stopover, I need to fill. It's like, it's good, but I felt it's like overkill, because you come for a ultra cycling, you wanted to ride long distances, and you don't want it to stop after 1 hour, right? You need to minimum ride 2 hours or 3 hours, right? So for me it was like a overkill. But it is, again, I understand it, it is a two format. So then I said, I need to deal with this. So, okay, instead of me wasting time there or spending longer time to get lazy, let me just get moving from there. So I stopped, refill water, get something to eat, keep moving. So, so,
Yeah,
so that's how I started enjoying the
because the
ride.
because the tour kind of caters to a lot of riders with
Correct,
varying abilities. They
correct.
have to kind of cater to plan for
Mhm.
the riders who have even the least ability, right, in terms of endurance and stuff. So I mean, if you look at it, tour of Nilgiris is a very luxurious kind of tour, right?
It
You
is
are pampered so much.
100%. 100%, 100% for you. Like, I mean, you don't get this treatment wherever you go. I mean, I'm not a very experienced ultra cyclist, but the ride what I've done, I think that is like equivalent to probably 5 or 6 ultra cycling events, right? But again, as you rightly mentioned, Tour of Nilgiris is not only a overkill, it is also a luxury that you don't get anywhere when it comes to ultra cycling events or tours. So yeah, so,
Yeah,
so, so that's how I started, and kind of, I think I remember even on the day one, I was the first to reach the hotel, and then everyone was like, "Oh, the first rider is to the hotel." For me, it's like, my aim or goal was not to reach the hotel first. What I did was, as per my coach advice, I was just trying to minimize the breaks, and I was just trying to keep on pedaling, and obviously I kind of reduced brakes, so I just reached the hotel first, but I didn't have any intention of, I'm going to get the medal because I'm going to reach the hotel. No, nothing was, nothing, nothing of that sort. It's just, as you said, I was just using the everyday ride for my training to build my endurance, and yeah, that's how I reached. And you know what happened on the day 6? So apart from that,
man. That was so disheartening to hear, because it was funny. For the first time in all these years, this was the first time that I felt sick.
Mhm.
I mean, I felt so sick that I couldn't ride from the
Yeah,
rest day, right?
yeah.
And I
Mhm.
was at the hotel resting, and I heard about your crash on the last day, and like, and being admitted to the hospital, then I
Yeah.
kind of knew, oh man, this is something bad. But
Mhm.
I was worried about not just this one, because I knew that you were training for race across Rwanda, and I
Yeah, yeah.
was like, oh, what happens now? I was really worried. And you were having a fantastic time till then, and what happened there? How did that happen?
To be honest with you, I'm not a very comfortable person when it comes to downhills, but with my gravel bike, with my 36 tires, I kind of gained that confidence over a period of time, right? So for me, before the crash, I was enjoying the downhills and the airpin bends, and I was reaching my maximum speed. I was super comfortable, particularly with the gravel bike, flared handlebars, and with those tires, right? um to be very honest with you, I had a concussion for 30 minutes. I can't remember how the crash happened, because we were
Right.
we were at the level crossing of the train, and then once the gates were opened, we all were going down. That's all I remember. And then after
Right.
that, all I remember was I was at the hospital, and there were few guys from the medical team were there. And I remember, if I'm not mistaken, Dheeraj,
Hmm.
the cyclist from
Correct.
Bangalore. There were 3 4 cyclists who stopped the ride because of me, and they came as well. I couldn't believe. I was like, "What happened? Where am I now?"
Hmm.
Then I see people doing stitches and people doing dressings and stuff, because I was so much worried, and I wanted to see my face as well, because I don't know, people are working on my face. For me, it's paining. I don't know. And then the
Right.
medical came, and then they took me to another hospital, which is a private hospital in Uti. Deepak was there with me, and yeah, to just to answer your question, I don't know how that happened, but as you said, there was one thing that actually hit me very hard. Is this was my first crash ever happened in my 2 years of cycling, and it was a major one. That much I know. And I was like, oh my god, what now? What am I going to do now? How am I going to do the race around Rwanda? I mean, there were lots of things running in my head. And the third worry I had is, oh my god, I had an injury on my face. Am I going to lose my beard? You know what?
Right.
It's the last thing to worry about. But I was like, oh my god, I grew this beard for almost 3 years. So am I going to lose the beard as well? So I was like worried. I didn't actually think about my parents. I didn't think about how I'm going to go to my work. I didn't think about my wife. I was like, oh, what's going to happen to my race around Rwanda? What's going to happen to my beard? So these were these were the thoughts running into my head.
Wait till your wife hears this.
Oh my God. If possible, you need to actually censor this one for me, please. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm just saying, right? I'm just being honest. I'm just being open. What
Yeah,
happened?
yeah, I know.
But what I heard is kind of there was a speed bump, and that speed bump was on a downhill, I think. And probably, I see, again, I'm not I'm aware of braking techniques on the speed bumps and stuff like that. But probably it was very steep, and there was a immediate speed bump which I didn't pay attention to. But I think I had a somersault of 2 or 3 times, and then I just fell off the bike. Yeah, so that's how I just ended up there.
Mhm. Right.
um,
Did you have a fracture or anything? Just
no, fortunately, I think that was a blessing in actually disguise, I must say. I had 7 stitches on my forehead, and 3 stitches on my upper lip. And I had a major scar on my left side of my face, and right knee. I had a major injury there, but by God's grace, I didn't have any fracture or major thing. So, but yeah, immediately, because I had a concussion, my roommate was a cardiologist as well, Dr. Joseph. So he immediately recommended me to do a MRI in the Coimbatore itself the next day before traveling, because I wanted to take the car and go to Chennai, right? So we just did the MRI the next day, to rule out there's no major clot in the brain or something. So that
mm,
was that was ruled out as well. Then I just went to Chennai. Then I took, because after 2 days I have to fly back to Dubai as well. So
yeah,
yeah, so that's what happened. And luckily there was no major damages on my bike as well. I just had replaced the cockpit, because I think the major impact was on the cockpit and on the helmet, because my
mm,
helmet had a large hole as well. So the helmet and the cockpit took majority of the
impact. Yeah,
impact, I believe. Yeah, so that's the whole thing. you know
man. That was a we have to say, if you got out without any fractures and stuff, and with the kind of support that we had on the tour, with so
Mhm.
many doctors, with the
Yeah.
kind of support we had from Deepak and team, maybe it was the best place to kind of, if you had to have, it's the best
Mhm.
place to have a incident like that. I would think, right? Uh,
Can I say
but
something about the crash as well, please, if you don't mind?
yeah, yeah,
For
sure,
me,
sure.
I think the crash also brought a lot of learnings and knowings as well. I didn't know, if I didn't have the crash, I didn't know how much friends I made in that tour. But the crash, I did not believe that when I just the moment I entered the hotel, everyone, almost I think half of the tour friends that I made were lined up in the hotel room to see me, what happened, and everyone was curious to know how this. I felt like why this happened to him and how this happened to him. People are more curious about like why this happened to him and how this happened to him, and also kind of everyone shared their love and thoughts. You won't believe me. Deepak was. I did not expect that Deepak going to be there in the hotel with me for 12 hours. So that is a very kind gesture from Deepak. He was there with me until he took me to the hotel. And people like, I mean, I'm just keep on talking about Dheeraj, and I forgot another friend's name from Bangalore. The guys were repeatedly checking on me. KP WhatsApps me. I mean, you won't believe me. Shraddha I mean, Shraddha, Geeta. There's lots of people, Chetan
Yeah,
Bar. There, I didn't know that that I made such a great friendships in the tour. I mean, people were. I remember even last month I got a WhatsApp message from Hemmings.
yeah,
Hemendra, he
yeah,
actually he actually sent me a message. Hey man, how are you? I mean, after I finished my Rwanda, he actually personally WhatsApp me saying, "I'm so amazed by seeing you that you just completed the race. Very well done, man." And a lot of people, even I think Ashwin from Bangalore, he actually posted my
yeah.
Strava
Ashwin
ride.
Vig.
Ashwin Beg, yeah, he actually posted my Strava data on the alumni group. I saw almost everyone who rode that tour with me. Everyone were giving me thoughts and blessings, because I think number one, what I felt is, number one, they all got a message that I recovered, and number two, people like you, Ashwin, and other friends who knows about my next adventure. People were also kind of, okay, you went and did that tour as well, so it kind of sent a message. But one thing for sure, I will never forget Tour of Nilgiris in my whole life. I mean, I'm talking about the positive side of it, because the people, number one, and the amount of hospitality I got during the tour, and I had a major crash, and people, how they were so hospitable, and people were sending me regards even after 1 month of the crash. I never had that situation in my whole life. So for me, the whole thing gave me a very good perspective, right? And
Yeah,
definitely, I would recommend, if like someone comes and tells me or asks me about going to Tour of Nilgiris, I would definitely say go. Don't even think about it. It's really
yeah.
one of the best experiences, I must admit, in terms of training, in terms of people, in terms of hospitality, everything.
Yeah, amazing. The tour is always about the people,
Hmm.
and the way they take care of us.
Hmm.
Like I was saying, we get pampered so much, and
Yeah,
we make friends for a lifetime.
100%,
Basically.
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I,
that's what keeps me going back again and again. That is what makes it special.
it's actually a very very valid point that you actually raised. When I was at the tour, I know there are few cyclists from Bombay, few cyclists from Bangalore, including you. I always ask this question to myself, right? Why people are coming to this tour often? For me, like, I mean, okay, if I'm going for a ultra cycling event, maybe Bikeman Portugal, maybe I may do one time, or maybe I may do two times. But I was thinking, why Bikey Wenky? is coming for a 10th time in a row for this tour. So what made him? So I was like curious to know about this, why people are coming repeatedly for this tour. So then it just connects all the dots now. So there's now, it's not just about the cycling, it's about people, it's about the whole experience, it's about the lifelong friendship, right? That's a, I mean, that's a word you actually use. So that
Yeah.
lifelong friendship is something that I have now, I would say, from the tour. Through my Instagram, through my WhatsApp, people chat, like Shraddha Desai is like one of my very good friend now. She just messages me, and Dheeraj, you, Deepak, so it's a great, I would say it's like I got a new family in India, I must say that.
Exactly, exactly.
Definitely,
They're
I will.
all a kind of extended family, right? Yeah,
Family, exactly, amazing. I mean, what a great experience. I mean, kudos to all the organizers behind this great event. Definitely, it's their hard work, and it's like how they created this whole
yeah,
frame of work. That brings uh, amazing cyclists like you for a 10 to 11 times, and if I get an
yeah,
opportunity, I definitely would go again to do that tour,
yeah.
100%.
Just a kind of full disclosure from my side. My first tour was in 2011,
Hmm.
where I did, and from 2012 onwards, every tour I was invited as a official blogger for the tour.
Oh,
But
nice.
even without me as coming as a blogger, there are so many others who are there, like riding ninth time, eighth time, seventh time, and because we all love being there, being part of that, the amazing vibes that the tour brings, right?
100%.
So yeah,
See, even. I mean, you're so kind to say that you've been invited by them, but also, Venki, even though you were invited by people, right? There is no one forcing you to go. It's because you like the vibes and you like the environment. It's only because of that you're also
absolutely,
there, right? It's not that okay, someone is inviting me, so I should just force myself to go. No, no one is forcing you to go. It's because the people,
absolutely.
because the vibes you're going there. I think it's the people that makes the whole difference in terms of Tour of Nilgiris, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, coming back to your, you've done the tour, ended up with a ton of stitches and road rash at the end of the tour and went
Mm.
back to Dubai. Uh, how many weeks was the difference did you have to kind of recover and get ready for race across Rwanda?
I think I just took a break of 2 weeks, because um, even if I didn't have the crash, my according to my training plan, I supposed to take a week break. But here, I think there was an extra 1 or 1.5 weeks, because one thing sure, my coach was very much following up on me, and the moment he knows that I'm just getting better and better, and once my stitches are off, he was like very keen on getting me back on the saddle, because he knows the more I snooze, I won't be able to come back on the bike, because it's about the it's not only about the injury or recovering, right? It's also the mindset. For me, I still remember the day one I went on a bike. I think my coach put me on a 1 hour easy ride. I was on the bike, and I was so much scared to take my one hand off to take my water bottle, because the fear of me falling again is always in my head, right? But I just kind of overcame those kind of fear, because he said, mate, we have still 1.5 month. No, he said we have 1 month left. So the race around Rwanda is February 5th, and we were having this conversation at end of December. He said, mate, we have 30 days time, so you need to decide now whether you're gonna go or not. I just told him, what do you think, Neil? I mean, his name is Neil. Uh, He said, mate, then he shared his crash pictures and stuff like that to me on WhatsApp. I said, oh my God, because he had a major crash during his ultra in Biking Man, Oman. And he shared with this, I mean, to me with all those pictures. I said, oh my God, really? How did that happen? So, they were like, I was so much blessed, I must say, that I got support from all over. I got support from so many people across, I mean, around me. And it's kind of a message that God sent to me: go, just do it. It's fine. So then I
Yeah.
started training. So my training started again. Then I asked Neil, did I lose much by this, I mean, with this crash? He said, no, mate, I would have anyway put you on 1 week recovery. You just had 2 weeks recovery now. So maybe two and a half. That's fine. Let's just get started. You didn't miss much, right? So then I started my training. In fact, it's only in the first week of, I mean, still I was a little bit reluctant if I can go to Rwanda or not, right? Because my holidays, my work and everything, because I had to extend my 1 week of holidays as well. I mean, that's the perk of being a working athlete, right? You need to manage so many puzzles around. But thank God I had a very cooperative and supportive working management as well, who kind of supported me with the passion. They said, it's your vacation, mate. Just take whenever you want. You want to go 2 months continuously as well, go, as long as you have the holidays. It's your vacation. So I mean, I had my coach telling me, mate, go and do it. And I had my manager telling me from my workplace, mate, this is your holidays. It's you who needs to plan. I'm not going to tell you what to do. So so I had, then I just spoke to my wife. My wife is I know it's hard, but if you think you can do it, go and do it, right? So, kind of, I got messages from all over the place saying, do it, do it, do it. Don't just lose this opportunity, right? And also, I know very well as well for a fact that I was the first Indian to register and to do this race as well. So kind of that also kind of motivated me that I should go and do it. I should not give up. Then everything started. I think by second week of Jan, I just made up my mind 100%. Yes, I'm doing it. Then I just started booking my ticket 2 weeks before the race. So then I know in my mind, yes, I'm doing it. And then everything fall into place. And then I started ordering my bike bags, and because this is my first ultra, and it's my first self-supported as well. It's completely different from Tour of Nilgiris, because where you don't get the luxury of pampering and food and stuff like that. So I know it's a self-supported. So then I spoke to my friend Eddie, because my friend Eddie is doing it for a second time. So then I told him, Eddie, I'm in. I don't know what to do, where to start. Then he's super organized, and he had a complete race strategy and what he wants to do and stuff. Right? He just shared everything to me. Then I kind of I took his strategy, what he did, and kind of made something that will work for me, because Eddie is a very seasoned cyclist, and because it's a second year, he knows what he is into, and he had a different strategy, and he had a different goal. For me, I had only one goal: to complete the race. So I took that. I took that strategy, and I kind of worked accordingly. What will work for me, right? If like Eddie says, I'm gonna go to CP2 on a first day, I know it's not possible for me. So I kind of use that. What is one thing for sure? My biggest blessings and learnings, I would say, I did not take something from Eddie, copy, and I kind of, okay, I'm going to do this. No, I kind of put my heart and mind to it. Okay, this is Eddie's plan, but this will not work for me, because I know my strength and weakness. What is my goal? So kind of I understood what will work for me, and I took that as a framework, and I customized something that will work for me. So that's how
Okay.
that's how we started planning. Then my coach was helping me a lot as well. So 2 weeks of recovery, then started my training. Then lots of other plannings involved in order to do a self-supported race, which I learned from a lot of my friends. I would say particularly from Eddie and my coach. They actually supported me with a lot of necessary information that what I should do for this race across
Right.
Rwanda, race around Rwanda.
Right, around Rwanda. So how was the race itself? The what was the distance? How many? Is there a cutoff, or how? I mean, how many days do we need to do and stuff like that?
Yeah, it is around 1,000 kilometers with 17,000 meters of climbing. But
Wow.
according to the Strava data, I think we climbed around 17,800, so almost 18,000 meters of climbing with 1,000
Right.
kilometers. And it's around, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to be 60 paved and 40 non-paved, the gravel. But I think it is like kind of a 50-50. I would say.
Mm.
And cutoff time is around 7 days. It's actually a quite generous cutoff time, but I must also admit it's like similar to the Tour of Nilgiris, right? You will get riders of different capabilities. For example, people like me, I finished at the last day, and there were a couple of more riders as well. They finished at the last because they had some technical challenges. And one of the rider I know from Ukraine, his name is Vadim. We both are on the same page. On the day one, he fell ill and he was sick, and he took a break for almost a day. He lost in the race, but still he
Wow.
finished. So the race is planned accordingly. Of okay, you might have a mechanical issue, or you might have things, so they give that time for you to, because the self-supported format is very very different from a tour. So you need to
Yeah.
have everything with you. You might have, I mean, I've seen people had issues with their tires, and they took public transport to go back to a city to get the tires repaired, come back to the area where they stopped, and they need to fix and they need to go. So it's a kind of self, it's not kind, it is a self supported. So you don't get any support from organizers, and you cannot use any support, like you can't have your family members or your friends coming and supporting you. The only thing
Yeah.
is, you can get the support that is available for everyone. Like for
Correct.
example,
Yeah.
you can go to a mechanic shop that is available for all the 100 cyclists, but you cannot have your self support, your van or your car coming with you. So it's what is available for everyone, you can just use it. So
Right.
for me, that was the first time I'm doing it, and I had carried my spares with me. I had carried my all my food. Almost I carried around 5,000 calories with me to start the race. Yeah, so the food, the spares, then water, you need to stop because you can't carry 100 liters of water with you, right? So you just need to carry
Right.
what is relevant. Then you stop. Then you just refill. So it's a very it's a complete 360-degree approach to the Tour of Nilgiris.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. When self-supported is one thing, then 50% of it being on gravel is another challenge.
Mhm.
And planning food, nutrition, hydration, everything is so vital, because you have to see what is available with you, what you can have on the route.
Mhm.
You have to kind of time your refuel and all that, right? So how did you plan your nutrition? How did it go? Did it go according to the plan, or did you have to improvise? How did that go?
Well, when it comes to nutrition, I okay. My coach always used to. I mean, there's like one question my coach asked me in all the after training, on my training peaks. What did you eat? What did you eat? What did you eat? So that was his first question. Always, because when it comes to ultra cycling, he even told me this is ultra cycling is considered as a eating competition on two wheels. So
Absolutely right.
it is about how you eat, right? It's not like someone doing an intermittent fasting and do an ultra cycling event. No, it doesn't work that way. So the more you eat, it's all about eating. So kind of he gave me a lot of guidance. So I carried around, but one thing for sure, during my training he just told me one thing: don't get train I mean don't use gels and all the sophisticated food. I want you to eat something that is available in the petrol stations. Eat something that you can get it in the market, right? If you carry a sophisticated goo gels or i5 or any brands, what will you do when you're in Rwanda in the middle of the night and you're running out of food? So your body should get used to it. So that's something that I learned from my coach as well. So I always started eating sandwiches, Snicker bars, gummy bears, Haribos, so those kind of food that is, that is like available. But yeah, in Rwanda, that's also makes Rwanda a very difficult race, because you don't get sandwiches in a supermarket, or you don't have a petrol station that's open 24 hours. So in the night, literally you won't get anything. So it's just in the morning you will have some shops where you will get some rotis are very very popular there, and there is something called mandazi. That's a kind of a fried donut. So only these things are very common in Rwanda. I mean the chapatis, sorry, not the rotis. It's like similar to the rotis. So the chapatis and the mandazis are very popular. Apart from that, obviously when you feel like eating some sugar or sweet, you don't get you don't get those things. So I carried around 5,000 calories. That includes Snickers, Haribos, and some salt biscuits. What else? I had some dates as well. I carried around 1 kg of dates with me just to keep it in my pocket, and plus the mandazis and the chapatis. Those are the food I kind of survived for 6 days. um, and it all worked well, because I think we Indians have a very strong immune system as well. We can eat from any places, right? So also my training also included those kind of things. I did not eat sophisticated food during my training. I stopped in a petrol station, I carry a sandwich, I mean take a sandwich, or sometimes I see a cafeteria, I carry some paratha, I eat. So kind of I trained my body as well, uh, to this kind of adjustments, right? So which actually worked like a charm for me. uh, it's just one day, and I think it was my day 4 from CP3 to CP4. That was the hardest part. We started with around 1600 meters of climbing, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a long 16 stretch as well. Sorry, it's around 16 kilometers, with around 1300 meters of climbing. I carried
Whoa.
Yeah, I carried everything with me, my water, in fact, an extra bottle of water, food, and everything. Guess what? I think 5 kilometers, I was running out of hydration, because it was a little bit in the middle of the day, and it was too hot, and gravel section, hard climbing. I don't know what to do, not even a drop of water. And I saw a bike coming on my opposite direction. I remember his name is Patrick. I just told him, and to my luck, he just spoke very good English as well. I told him, "Hi, I'm doing this race. I'm running out of water. Do you mind helping me?" He said, "Okay, tell me, what can I do for you?" I said, "I need a bottle of water and I'm craving for something sugar. Can you get me a bottle of Fanta and a bottle of water?" I told him, "I'll give you money, whatever you want. Don't worry about it. I just need this." So I gave him some 10,000 Rwandan francs. He went, okay, he said, luckily, he was also very smart, because I had a local number. So he told me, "Give me your mobile number. I will catch you, so that if you don't give me a number, I don't know where you are." Very smart, because I did not think about giving my number, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
for me, all I want is water and Fanta. I did not think about other stuff. Then he was very smart, and he took my number. I think within 20 minutes he called me saying, "Brother Jay, unfortunately I could," because in Rwanda you have the bike taxis. It's
Hmm.
very common. You don't need a bigger cars or something. Bikes are one of the majority. I think bikes people use bikes as a transportation for a
Hmm.
taxi.
Main
So he
means
told
of transportation. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He told me, "Brother, I do not find any bike taxis. What should I do?" I said, "Please, if possible, can you come back for me? I can pay whatever the bike taxi charges, right?" He said, "No, no, no, it's okay, no problem." So he had his sister on the bike. I think he went and dropped his sister, and the poor guy came back. And I think within 25, 30 minutes, he came back and he gave me the stuff what I needed exactly in the location. So yeah, that was very. I was in fact crying when I got the water and Fanta, because I don't know if like Patrick wasn't there, I don't know how I would have got my water and Fanta, because I remember I found the first shop only after 35-kilometer mark. Imagine
Mm. Wow.
what I would have done without Patrick helping me with water and Fanta, right? So that kind of a
Yeah.
very then later, after finish my race, I spoke to my friends. They were like, "Oh, you are very resourceful because you used and you thought what to do at the right time." For me, I didn't know whether I'm resourceful or not, but I thought I'm someone who can go and ask people what I want. So that kind
Right.
of attitude actually help me there to survive. So that's again
Yeah.
part of nutrition strategy. I think I must admit.
Yeah, you just imagine if there was no one there,
Yeah.
you would have, I mean, you would be without water, without energy,
Yeah.
stuck on a hill that is so
100%.
steep
Yeah.
in the middle of the day. That would have been disastrous. But good that
But
someone
yeah,
was there,
yeah,
got your help, and moved on.
hundred
Awesome, man.
percent.
So,
And again, when it comes to planning, right, we planned a lot, but nothing worked as per the day one worked as per the plan. Like in the sense you plan that I need to ride 150 kilometers on the day two or day three, for example. The day three and day four become very hard. So I was thinking that I will ride until midnight, but I couldn't ride in the midnight because of rain and the hardest climbs and stuff like that. So I was stuck because I'm tired. I want to ride. If I need to reach the hotel, I need to ride another 40 kilometers, and I don't have legs. And even if I think, okay, I can ride, heavy rain, thunderstorm. I don't know what to do. I slept in the bars in one of the nights. I went and asked the bar manager, I want to sleep. I want to play. He was like looking at me as if, who the hell is this guy? It's like raining so heavily. There's a thunderstorm. A guy comes with a bike. I mean, he doesn't know what to do. Then he just pulled some strings. He spoke to some people and he said, okay, I give you a place to sleep. So I think I would say 50% worked as per my plan, but 50% did not work as per my plan. So it was, I think, uh, I was acting in the moment because one thing I know that is I need to finish this race, whatever happens. I'm not gonna turn back, whatever. So I was looking at, and I know I have, because there's only one thing I was chasing, my according to the cutoff time. What is the cutoff time? What is the cutoff time? What is the cutoff time? Do I have time to reach there? Yes, okay, let's do this, so my goal was very clear. What was my goal? To complete the race around Rwanda in 7 days within the cutoff time. So I was very clear. I didn't have any greedy goals of I need to finish this, that. No, very clear set of goals, and I was chasing that goal. Very simple.
amazing, amazing. So, would you also, how did you kind of time your sleep and stuff? Where
Well,
were you
I
sleeping?
yeah, I think that on the day one I was sleeping in like one of the hotels because we planned, because on the day one I thought I will go to the CP1 in the evening. Because all the CPs, all the control points are equipped with hotels. Either it's a hostel or it's a hotel. So they planned all the control points will have a place to stay for us. So I was eventually planning that every night I will stay in the control point, but on the day one we reached the control point in the afternoon, so we had time to ride. So I continued riding. And then there were like riders, right? There were some riders from Dubai, from other riders. So we talked, okay, what's the plan, what are you going to do? They said, Jay, there is a hotel in 40 kilometers or 50 kilometers, we are planning to ride. I said, okay, I can do that, so I can push. So we were just talking, we were using the Google Maps, and we, because sometimes it worked as per the plan, but most of the time it didn't work according to the plan. So the day one we slept in a hotel, and day two as well. No, day two we went to the CP2. So the CP2 had a hostel, so we actually slept there as well. Day three for me the challenge started because nothing worked as per the plan at all. um, because I need to ride almost, I think, 180 kilometers to reach to the hotel. But I know, because CP2 to CP3 is hardest, you cannot finish in one day. So I have to break it. It's around two, if I'm not mistaken, It's around 200 or 250 kilometers. I know I cannot do that because with the elevation as well, it's more. Then I said I will split into two. Then we found a hotel. I mean, one of the Belgium rider was with me because we both had the same pace. So what happens in this race is as well, you cannot draft, but if you meet someone, you can ride side by side. So we both were on the same pace. So we both were riding side by side, talking, chatting, so we had that company and things. So then we planned, and we found a hotel on a Google around 11 o'clock. We stayed there. So my sleeping, first day I was like sleeping like a luxury 6 hours, and my coach messages me in the morning, mate, this is not a tour, this is a race. Move, move. I don't want you to stay. I don't want you, this is, you're not on a luxury tour with your family. This is a race. Move, move. And also what happens is, there's a dot watching in the ultra cycling world. So Coach Neil is also a commentator in dotwatcher.cc, because dotwatcher.cc is a platform where they feature all the top ultra races in the world. So once you have the link sent to people, it's called as legends tracking, so people can track. So the organizers, that's how they keep the safety of the riders, right? So my coach was looking at me on the dot, where is this guy, where is this guy, why is this he sleeping until here for 6 hours? So he just WhatsApp me, move, 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 move. So the first 2 days I slept a little bit longer, 6 hours minimum. But after that my sleeping reduced because I started being alone on the road, so I got slept in the bar. So you can't sleep for more than 4 hours in a bar. So 3 4 hours charging, charging your batteries, because your lights charging, your Garmin charging, all your essentials charging are very important. So I use that opportunity to charge, to get some rest. Maybe if my clothes is wet, maybe to make it dry. Get some sleep, little bit French fries to eat in the night. Sleep, alarm 4 o'clock, then again. So on an average, I think 6 hours on the day one and day two, and day three, day four, and all 3 4 hours maximum I slept. That's all.
Man, yes. But what were your major learnings from that experience?
Number one, I can do anything in life. If I really ask myself, I wasn't born with a silver spoon, but um, I come from a middle class family, right? But like in India, middle class family, they want their kids to do to get a proper life, what the parents didn't get. So I come from that family, right? So my dad always kept us in a good schools, in a good education, in a good college. So we were a little bit spoiled, right? So I never did any hardest thing in my life. So my first hardest thing I would say in my whole life is Race Around Rwanda, where I was completely left in a jungle, in a forest, in a rain, in a thunderstorm, and I need to finish. I need to have finish the destination. So this is one of the hardest thing in my whole life. So I think when I do this, I can do anything in my whole life. So it changes the perspective. So even in my work, if somebody gives me a challenge now, I always think, oh, I've done the Race Around Rwanda, so I can do this. So that's my biggest learning. And also the other part is also, um, I need to have a better bike setup, because this is my first ultra. So I never seen ultra races from the world, but in Race Around Rwanda, I saw almost 80 riders from 80 different parts of the world. So I see
Wow.
their bikes. I mean, I saw their bikes, what kind of gears they use. I mean, in terms of bike, my bike was perfect in terms of gearing and everything. But in terms of bag setup, in terms of the charging units and stuff like that, I kind of need to do a lot of improvements in there. So current as we speak, I'm already working on equipping my bike for my next ultra race. So yeah, so these things, the better setup and the mindset wise, I have a very I won't say strong, but I kind of have a confidence that I can do anything in life. So these are my biggest learnings, I must admit.
Amazing. That is a great takeaway to have, right? You are equipped to deal with life a lot better now, right?
I mean, this is what, right? People sometimes think that we waste time on a bike and we just go cycling. We don't do anything else in life. But I think it's other way around, because when you can sit on a saddle for 6 hours during a weekend and train, it's not that you are crazy to do it, because you are so much confident and you are enduring that pain, right? Which means you can do anything in life. That's what sometimes people, I think, an athlete like you will understand, but for a normal people, they think, oh my god, this guy is mental. You can you can just be on a bike for 18 hours, but yeah, it's a whole new perspective you gain. So I think cycling definitely helps my mental and my physical life as well. It's really amazing, I must say.
Awesome. You just mentioned about your next ultra. So what is next on the cards?
As you know, I actually finished surgery for me. I mean, I'm on a break now. I'm on a recovery. As per doctor, I can get back only in the month of May for cycling. But my next ultra I planned for North Cape 4000. It actually starts from Milan, Italy, and I need to ride up to North Cape, Norway, which is around 4,200 kilometers. And
Whoa.
yeah, it starts in July 15th, and you need to finish it, no, sorry, July 22nd, and you have time until August 15th. So there's a time of 21 days or something, you need to finish it, if you want to be a qualifier, right? Or else if there's no cutoff time for it. So I'm planning to do that, but I'm not quite sure if I can do that or not, because I lost a significant amount of fitness that I gained, because in 1 month, I didn't do anything. But still, sorry, I had a I had a chat with my coach a few weeks back. I mean, me and my coach, we are just having a chat very closely, and we are planning to have a call as well tomorrow to see what I can do and when I can come back on the set. So as we speak, I just got a confirmation from my doctor as well. I'm just going to meet my doctor today. If he says yes, I can push a little bit earlier or in the month of May, then I have 2 months to train. Then I would go for North Cape 4000. If I couldn't make it, my goal is to do some BRMs in India. I'm looking at doing 1,000 kilometers BRM. I know I mean the cycling scene in India is amazing. When I see super randomness, and sometimes when I see people how they do those monstrous rides in India, oh man, it's a whole new respect for them. So I really wanted to come at the end of the year to India. I want to do at least 1,000 BRMs. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do this year, and probably next year I have a few other ultra races planned as well. I'm looking at doing Pan Celtic, which is one of the ultra races as well. It's around Wales, Scotland. That's also one of the toughest rides as well. If not, LEL is in my bucket list as well. The London, Edinburgh, London. It's a Paris, Brest. It's also a BRM kind of
Correct.
thing. So these are
1600 kilometers.
yeah, yeah. It actually starts from London, Edinburgh, and then you come back to London. So I
Right.
think these are some of the plans. But my next one would be either North Cape 4000 if I am able to do it. If not, I'm looking at a BRM to do in India, or even the Deccan Cliff, the Deccan Cliff, right? I think it's around
Deccan cliffhanger. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Deccan Cliffhanger is in my list as well. And always I wanted to do the K2K, Kashmir to
Right.
Kanyakumari. That's in my bucket list as well.
Oh,
Yeah, let's see.
you have your bucket list full, you
Yeah, yeah. And I think for the next 2 years, I mean, one thing for sure, I kind of have a vision of doing ultra cycling. So that will be my definitely my cup of tea. But again, what I want to do is I wanted to also create awareness through these rides, and probably I don't want it to ride just for my satisfaction, but I want to ride for people who are not able to ride, and I wanted to probably develop some kind of a meaningfulness in the rides what I do. So maybe
yeah.
create some awareness and create some maybe a fundraising for people that needs attention. So this is what I am looking, because I know this is very satisfying when you do this kind of. I felt that when I just came to the finishing line of Race Around Rwanda, I cried. I literally cried because that's one of the toughest thing I ever done in life. Right? I cried during the ride. I cried when I was in the forest, in the jungle, during the rain. I mean, I was riding and the rain was so horrible, and I have to finish the ride. I don't know. I had a lot of moments during the race, but when I came to the finishing line, that that feeling I had is I don't have any words to explain them, so I have that pleasure, so I know what it is, right? And now what next? I wanted to create that meaningfulness in all my ultra rides to help the community.
Definitely, man. And I wish you very all the very best for all your future rides. And I want to thank you for taking the time and sharing your experience with the Working Athlete podcast. It's been a fantastic chat.
Thank you so much, Venki. I mean, when I just saw your message, I said, wow, okay. I even thought, am I the right person to be in your podcast, But then again, I said, well, I'm going to share my little experiences, what I had, and maybe it might help someone who's planning to go for a TFN or a racer in Rwanda, right? It's just I just want to convey only one message, that anyone can cycle as long as you have the passion to, or the willingness to do it, right? And I wanted to thank you and the Working Athlete podcast to considering me and giving me this opportunity as well. So thank you so much. It actually means the world to me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy this, enjoy listening to your experience and take away something as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Venki. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye bye.
That was my conversation with Jay. I hope you enjoyed that. If you are enjoying this podcast and are finding them useful, please consider supporting the podcast by subscribing to it on YouTube as well as on your favorite podcasting app. It really helps. Also, supporting the sponsors of the podcast is another way of supporting the podcast itself. Thanks again for your continuous support. See you next week with another guest.